America, we are back, baby. Welcome to another episode of America Unfiltered with James Pascalides. We got a great show for you tonight, everyone. A lot of different things to talk about, so please remember to smash the follow button, leave a comment, let me know what you think about the show. We will be getting to comments at the end of the show today. We have been doing that recently, so anyone who commented on yesterday's episode or any recent episodes yesterday, we'll be reading those comments at the end of the day today. I appreciate everyone who watches the show and who leaves comments, lets me know their feedback on everything. But we got a lot of good things to talk about today. I want to talk about a new lobbying organization registered under FARA. So a foreign lobbyist, an Israeli lobbyist, going by the name Faith By Works LLC. We'll talk about them today. We'll talk about what they're doing, the corruption that Ian Carroll exposed today. And then I also want to talk about October 7th. I want to talk about what happened originally in Israel. I want to talk about what's happened in the aftermath with the war and where we are today with it. I want to talk about Candace Owens a bit. Last week, I was going against what Candace Owens was doing and saying, and I still have some problems with it a little bit. I don't like the fact that she drags it on. Again, this isn't Bravo TV or it's not a drama series. We need you to report the news and act like a real journalist. So when you say, I have these things and I'm not going to release them until the next episode, at that point, it gets into the territory of grifting a bit because you're monetizing every single stream. So either stop monetizing it and take as long as you want to release the fucking information, or just release the information and don't do a different build-up every fucking episode, and that way you can monetize the shit out of it and make thousands and thousands of dollars on this. I find that part of it disingenuous, but at the same time, Candace's messages that she showed yesterday were confirmed by TPUSA to be real, so we'll talk about that today. We'll go in depth to what Candace talked about in her stream today. I just watched it before I started filming this. Then after that, we'll talk about Kamala Harris a bit and what she did in her new book. It was just fucking ridiculous. In her new book, she was targeting Andrew Tate, Myron Gaines. These people live fucking rent-free in their heads. So we'll talk about that today. We'll talk about this new kid, Brillin Hollyhand, as well. We talked about him last week, but we'll talk about some new embarrassing clips that have came up from him. We got a lot of different things to talk about. So again, please remember to smash the follow button, leave a comment, let me know what you think about the show. To start the episode, I'm just going to bring you guys right into our clips and our X posts. We're just going to kind of have this up for almost the entire episode today. We got a lot of different clips, a lot of different things to show you. But I want to show you guys this. So this is what I was talking about with the FARA registration. It was a new San Diego-based firm called Faith By Works LLC to target American Christians with Zionist propaganda. So essentially what they're doing is they want to set up a geofencing location around all these different churches through, I think it's like 4 or 5 states, and anybody who goes into these churches, they're going to track your phone, and then they're going to send you advertisements with Israeli propaganda. So right now, Israel is not only invading our politics, they don't just own our media, and they are lying to us on our own media and calling it the truth, but now they are literally trying to weaponize Christians' niceness against them. They're trying to weaponize Christians. They're trying to weaponize our religion against us. It is so unfair the way our government allows these things to happen. No country should be allowed to invest in a company in the United States that, it's similar to the Kentucky MAGA thing, where it's like Kentucky MAGA is a lobbying group, and they sound like a patriotic lobbying group, but they're an Israeli lobbying group, and they're just disguised that way. And this is similar as well. Like, the country of Israel, a Jewish country, is trying to get Christians to be on their side, and they're going to track your phones, and they're going to sell you propaganda to get you on their side. Again, weaponizing our own religion, our own niceness against us is not going to work. People are waking up to what is happening. They're noticing what Israel is doing. They notice the war crimes. They notice the lies. People are smarter now because of social media and their ability to mass communicate. I talk about it all the time, and I know I'm repeating myself because I say this all the time, but Your average 14-year-old knows more than your average 70-year-old because in 30 seconds of scrolling TikTok, they get more information than that guy gets in a month of watching Fox News or CNN. People are smarter nowadays. The younger generations are way smarter because of their abilities to mass communicate because of social media. And right now, things like this are being exposed because of that. Israel was able to get away with stuff like this for generations because those generations were too stupid to look for it. But now we have people, these internet sleuths, who literally do not stop. They will search for this information and they find stuff like this. But the plan for them is to engage in grassroots and digital targeting of Christians in the western United States, giving them pro-Israel messaging and Hezbollah. And this is all, like, you could find this all on the FAIR website. This isn't like, some hacked information, or it's pretty well hidden because most people don't know how to get to or use the FAR website. But again, if you're a young person watching the show, go check this out. I'm scrolling through this so you guys can see. But the problem is laid out at the beginning of their slide deck is that Israel's approval rating among American evangelical Christians is low, and they want to combat that. So basically, they are realizing that they are losing support, and they are losing support fast. Evangelical Christians, specifically people like Charlie Kirk, are the people who pushed Israel's relationship with America forward. And now, especially with Charlie Kirk gone, they are losing an insane amount of support. They had a ton of people who were like on the fence or just didn't speak about the Israel topic or didn't know enough about it, or they would hear what Charlie was saying, but they might not agree with it, but they're like, I'm not going to go against Charlie. But now that Charlie has officially passed, now that Charlie's gone, he's been assassinated, people who used to watch him every day, they're now filling that hole with other creators. They're filling that hole with Myron Gaines is one of the people that, all these new people are turning into. Candace Owens they're turning into. They're tuning into Nick Fuentes. They're tuning into the alt-right people that Charlie Kirk was kind of foes with. And they're doing this because they realize that Charlie Kirk was shilling for the GOP while the rest of us are not. The rest of us are trying to actually push for real America First policies, trying to push for the truth, not trying to shill for other countries. We want what's best for Americans because we realize Americans are fucked right now. If you're Gen Z, you're fucked. If you're a millennial, you're fucked. If you're Gen Alpha, you're really fucked. We're born into this economy where there's, very little jobs for straight white Christian men, where if you get a college degree, it's not really worth it unless you get a if you get a degree in accounting, engineering, finance, doctor, lawyer, like there's certain degrees you can go for that are worth your time. But other than those, like if you're going as a comm major, one of the most common majors at colleges, and they actually push a lot of people into that major, what are you going to actually fucking do with a comm degree? What are you seriously trying to accomplish in this world? Because you're not going to be able to get a job with it, especially if you're a straight white Christian male. It just won't happen. They want diversity hires at these companies. They don't want straight white Christian men. We were born into this economy where it's like we were told to do all these things. We did them all, and then we were shit on for doing these things. We were told, go to college. We were told, learn STEM, learn how to code. But then AI came and took all that over. It's basically, I don't know, it's gotten to the point where we really need to take a step back. We need to reassess the current system, and we need our government, our leadership, to actually take control and do something. If Donald Trump doesn't do something to stop all this lobbying, if he doesn't do anything to stop the woke indoctrination on colleges, the spread of DEI, if he doesn't stop the fact that like 95% of all the people hired by the major S&P 500 companies were not white men, we are going to see the fall of America. When the people who built America don't have a place in it anymore, what's going to fucking happen? That's when you're going to see the revolution, and that's what we need to avoid. You cannot displace Americans. You cannot take Americans and give them propaganda and expect them to accept it. You cannot take Americans and just be like, nope, you have European descent. Excuse me. You have European descent. We're not going to hire you here. We only want black people. We only want gay people. We only want Hispanics or Asians. But then it's even like Harvard literally added affirmative action because there was too many Asians. It was racist how many Asians were getting in over black people. but then someone hacked their database and showed that the average IQ and average test scores of the black students was way lower than the averages of the Asian or white students. We're being replaced. We're being fed propaganda. We have so many problems domestically, and right now our government's focus is on foreign nations. It's on Israel, and it's not on like what Israel is doing to Americans like this stuff. It is on how can we help Israel? How can we send them more money? How can we allow them to rape our politicians, rape our government even more? I would love Donald Trump. I would love the government to actually be like, hey, why is Israel lobbying Americans more than almost any other country? Why is Israel doing everything they can to spread this propaganda to Americans? Why is Israel saying that we need American support? Well, they need it because they would get literally fucked without it. Without our support, Israel would literally get shoved in a locker by every surrounding country around them. Why? Because we have acted like their bodyguard. We have pushed 6 different regime changes for them. And then beyond that, they're still trying to do more of them. And on top of it, they're committing a genocide, and we're backing. Israel doesn't need our finance. They don't need our money anymore. They barely need our weapons because they've stockpiled so many, although they do still kind of need them. What they really need is they need a bodyguard. They need someone to back them up, to be their big black guy to their Jack Doherty. So when they do something fucking annoying and Egypt wants to go push their shit in, we're here to back them the fuck up. When they want to overthrow Saddam, who does it for them? We do. They have never been on our side, and it's clear. You don't have to lie to people who are on your side. When you have to push Hezbollah, when you have to push propaganda to the American people, it should be clear that, like, you guys should just change. If you are having to lie to people to be like, no, we're actually good people, and then we realize you're not, how about just change and become good people? Is that fucking hard? Is it so hard for the people in Israel, for the government of Israel, for the dual citizens in America who have their loyalty to Israel over America to just change their habits? Like, seriously, if you have a lot of negative habits, if you're justifying the killing of children, like, fuck you. You have no place in American society. You do not assimilate. You do not assimilate at all to American society if you are justifying the killing of children. It is unjustifiable, some of the things that like Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro and Benjamin Netanyahu and Barry Weiss and these people defend. You cannot defend a genocide. You cannot defend journalists getting killed in double tap attacks. You cannot defend these things. I want to go back to like this. I want to keep reading what they said. But they say they will use biblical arguments to highlight the importance of Israel and the Jewish people to Christians. Again, you doing that goes against everything we believe in as Christians. I've explained this before, and I'll explain it one more time if there's any new viewers. But Catholics believe and Christians believe that the prophecies of the Old Testament were fulfilled, and the New Testament supersedes it. It's not a sequel, it supersedes the Old Testament. It's the new prophecies. So when Jewish people and when Israeli, like when all these people say, you know, they quote Genesis, they quote different verses in the Bible, in the Old Testament specifically, saying, oh, you got to defend Israel. It says in the Bible that if you defend Israel, you'll be blessed, and if you don't, you'll be cursed. It's like you are quoting a prophecy that was already fulfilled. It was fulfilled when Jesus died on the cross, and the new prophecy of the New Testament supersedes it. So you saying that literally just disrespects everything I believe and just shows that you don't actually give a shit. You just want to propagandize me. You just want me to be on your side. But no, we are America over here. We are not Israel. We don't need to be on your side because a religious verse from the Old Testament that isn't even in the New Testament, the new prophecy, like, fuck you. There's no obligation to protect Israel because of the Bible, and them weaponizing our religion against us is part of the propaganda, and it's one of the things that pisses me off the most. You cannot weaponize my religion against me and act like I'm gonna go to fucking hell if I don't support what you're doing. If I don't support women and children and journalists being murdered, then I'm going to hell according to Jewish people. Then I'm not a good Christian. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm not a good Christian? I could say you're not religious at all. If you support the idea of women and children and journalists being murdered, I question your morality. I question where you get your morality from, because I know where I get mine from. I get it from the Pope. I get it from the Bible. I get it from Christ. Christ is king. But no, they don't think that way. They literally don't respect Jesus at all. They spit on Christians when you go to Israel. Israel does not have the love for America that they make it seem in our ads. I promise you this, if you watch an Israel ad and you're on the fence of like, oh, is Israel bad? Is Israel positive? If you're a Christian and you watch that and you see these like October 7th ads they're running and these new Hezbollah ads they're running, if you go to one of these churches, do this, wear your cross and go to Israel and watch how many people spit on you. How many children spit on you? Do you think children just are like they're born with the thought like I'm just going to go spit on Christians, or do you think that's taught to them? Because it's taught. They teach them that shit there. They teach them to spit on Christians. They teach them to disrespect us. They teach them that Jesus was just a rogue Jew who ran I don't even know what the fuck you want to call it, but tried to overthrow their regime. That's basically how they frame who Christ was. It's the most disrespectful shit. They do not actually value the relationship between Christians and Jews. And it's not to say that some Jews in America don't. A lot of them do. It's not every Jew. We speak about this a lot. But there are a lot of really good Jews in America. There are a lot of people who, again, they don't put their Israeli, loyalty over their American loyalty. They don't even have loyalty to Israel at all, some of them, especially the younger generation ones. I mean, you see Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross is the most popular streamer in the world, arguably. He's Jewish, and he says free Palestine every fucking stream. Again, it's not every Jewish person. It's not to say like, oh, if they're Jewish, they're going to act this way. No. But there are people in Israel who do act this way. There are dual citizens in America who do act this way, who act like they are God's chosen people, better than everybody else. Everything was promised to them thousands of fucking years ago. And everyone has to bow down and kiss their fucking shoes. That they can spit on you when you visit their country, even if you come from the country that literally finances theirs. And it's not even that we just finance theirs. We are their bodyguards, and that's what's most important. You could take all the money we send Israel away, and in the end, it really wouldn't affect them that much. You could take the weapons we give them away, and it wouldn't impact them that much, although it would impact them more than the money. What would really impact Israel is if the United States said, we are no longer your security guards. We are no longer going to back you up when you want to push a regime change. We are no longer going to defend you when Iran attacks you because you attacked them first. We are no longer going to defend you after you literally allowed the October 7th attacks to happen. We're going to get into that today, but there is so much evidence to show that the October 7th attack was allowed to happen, that maybe whether they knew about it or right after it started, they figured out and they just let it happen. But there were people, former IDF soldiers, who have testified that they were told not to patrol that day. There are IDF soldiers who have testified that they were told not to be near the border at the time. There is so much evidence showing that this is something that was allowed to happen. And it was allowed to happen because they wanted to push the regime change. Because they wanted, not the regime change, because they wanted to annex Gaza City. They wanted to own it completely and make it all Israel. They think it was promised to them thousands of fucking years ago. They think that if Palestinians are there, then their entire lives are threatened, is their thought process. And Palestinians think the same thing. They think if Israel's there, our entire lives are threatened too. And they're both correct. I mean, they both target each other in these constant wars, and the United States needs no involvement in it. There should be no involvement from the United States anywhere in the Middle East. We don't need to be affiliated with any of those shit third world nations, including Israel. Israel is one of the richest out of all the countries there, and they're very rich because they exploit all the diamond mines in Africa, the slave mines in Africa, so they're the richest country in diamonds. Excuse me. But we need to have a full separation, and not just a financial separation, but a separation where we say, we're just no longer affiliated with you. We're not going to pick up your phone calls anymore. We don't need your intelligence. You're not getting ours. We're not going to help you in any way. We root out all the dual citizens out of our government. Anyone who is a dual citizen, we say, pick one today. That is what we need to do. That is what needs to happen. I'm going to keep going on here. I know I keep getting sidetracked and just going on little rants, but let's see. They specifically plan to hire regional teams to target densely populated Christian communities throughout California, Arizona, Nevada, and the greater Denver, Colorado areas. California has 40 million residents and roughly 18 million estimated church-going Christians, they write. And they want to propagandize all of them. They want to literally track your phones. They want to track your cell phones. A foreign nation, it's not even they're asking for permission. Like, they signed up to do this, and they are doing it. If you're in this area, if you go to church in that area, your phone is going to be tracked by Israel. And then they are going to sell you Hezbollah propaganda. This is the current state of America. We can't even get a break from it on our own personal fucking phones. We can't get a break from the Israeli propaganda. On our own personal devices. You can't go to fucking church on a Sunday without being sold Israeli propaganda. And they want us to like them. Again, I hate Dunkin' because they run too many fucking commercials. You think I'm gonna like you after you spread propaganda on my phone when I'm just trying to enjoy my fucking Sunday? I'm trying to go to church, accept the Eucharist. I'm trying to build my relationship with Christ. I'm trying to get closer to God, and I'm being fucking raped with Israeli propaganda. That's what I have to deal with? It's rape. It's literally rape. I don't want it. It's unconsensual. I do not want it. I view it as rape. You cannot rape my phone with propaganda, Americans' phones with propaganda, and expect us to fucking like you. We hate you more because of it. The girl, that opinionated girl, she had like 1 million something followers, and she lost like 300,000 after she posted that Bibi Netanyahu video where she talked about how AIPAC doesn't hurt Americans. She talked about how AIPAC doesn't hurt Americans after her Hezbollah meeting with fucking Bibi Netanyahu. This is what we're dealing with in America. We do not have the ability to communicate about these things. We do not have the ability to talk about these things and go about our days without Israel trying to stick their fucking nose into it. Without Israel trying to literally change everyone's mind about everything with lies. Israel can't spread propaganda to Americans and expect them to just accept it. And a lot of, like, boomers will. A lot of boomers are going to see it. And they're going to, be feeling all nice. They're Christians. They just went to church. They're in a happy mood. They're going to see an ad of, like, a kid who they're going to say this kid just lost his parents and he got fucking raped or whatever. And then they're going to say, all we need is $5. All we need is your support. All we need is your email for our email list. And some fucking dumb boomer is going to fucking sign up for it. They're going to send them money. They're going to support this bullshit. And they're not going to even realize that it's Israel who's doing it. They're just going to think that it's an American Christian group who is trying to solicit donations for this, Judeo-Christian relationship. They are literally, Israeli firm is literally fronting as a Christian firm to take money from American Christians. This is rape. This is literally rape. We are being raped in real time. Like, please help me. We're being raped. Please, please, police. Someone help me. I am being raped. I am getting raped right now by Bibi Netanyahu. Someone stop it. Please. Will someone stop this rape? I don't think anyone's going to stop it, though. I think our government is allowing it. We have people in our government like Marco Rubio, like Donald Trump, like J.D. Vance, Stephen Miller. Ben Shapiro's not in the government, but he acts like he fucking is. We have these people who are literally allowing this to happen. They are allowing the rape to happen. They're lubing Bibi's dick up before he rapes us all. That's what's happening. He's picking up the condoms for him. He's even getting him a pack of smokes and some water for when he finishes. Like, this is what we're dealing with. We are just being absolutely raped. I'm going to finish reading all this, and then we're going to go on. I've already been going on for like 25 minutes, and we're only still on the first topic, so. I know I've just been ranting. I'm having fun with it today, though. I was not feeling great last week, and I have my energy back this week, and I'm fucking letting it flow. I'm having fun. I'm having fun, fellas. Let's see. Their base of operation will be in Riverside, California. It will house a pastoral video podcasting studio, a pastoral resource coordinator, a social media team, and more. It's co-located near the digital firm Raincross, they say, to better coordinate messaging. This comes directly from the Charlie Kirk How to Rape Americans playbook. In that letter that was leaked by the New York Times, of the letter that Charlie Kirk wrote Bibi Netanyahu, this was straight out of it. Set up the social media team, the podcast team, that, most young listeners get their news from podcasts today. Who the fuck watches the news? If I ever turn on the news, it's just to see how retarded these people still are. But yeah, we'll keep going. They plan to establish a podcast hosted by prominent Christian leaders and sponsor pro-Israel messages. Sorry, I've had the hiccups the last 2 days. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. They want to weaponize Christians against us. Like, they want to weaponize their own religion against us. It is bullshit that they're allowed to do this and our president allows it, and that we don't have laws to stop this. Why are we allowing another religion to weaponize Christianity against us? And not even just another religion, but another country. Why are we allowing a foreign nation, one across the fucking world, to influence America this much? And it's because the mafia set it up that way. And I know it's like a crazy leap to go from this to like the mafia, but in the early 1900s, the Jewish mafia set up Murder Inc. The Jewish mafia controlled a lot of the unions. They controlled a lot of the ports. They controlled a lot of the politicians. They controlled a lot of the businesses. They built up Hollywood. They built up the media. They built up Las Vegas. So they built up this tremendous amount of wealth, this network of people, essentially this crime syndicate that's still going today, where they have this network of media where they can push whatever propaganda they want to the American people. They built that over 100 years ago, and they're using it to this day still to get Americans to support Israel. And it took social media being invented and, short form videos like TikTok and things like that for people to really wake up to it. Beyond just seeing the war crimes on social media, you now have people who are searching the government archives, these internet sleuths. They're searching FBI databases and records, and they're reporting on things like the dancing Israelis, the Israeli art students, the USS Liberty, what really happened at JFK, the Samson option. All these things, they're being told in real time. Americans are waking the fuck up. The great noticing to Israel is happening, and they want to stop it. And how do they stop it? They turn to Old Reliable. They turn to all the media companies they own. They just bought more of them. They just bought TikTok as well to try and shut it all down. They mass purged everyone's accounts on TikTok who was speaking about Israel. They even purged mine. Mine got completely deleted. They even banned the juice emoji. Like, the juice box emoji got banned because people were using that to talk about Jews, because juice and Jews sound similar. Like, are they just gonna ban every fucking emoji eventually? Like, how does this end? This is the censorship we're dealing with, but we're not living in the Middle East. We're not living in we're living in America, and we're getting censored by another nation, essentially. By Americans who have a loyalty to Israel, Americans are being censored. They're being turned off. They're being shut down by our own government, by these nations, by the lobbying groups, by Faith By Works LLC. Faith By Works LLC sounds like it would be a great company. It sounds like it would be something that goes around its community. It does different, service acts, community service projects. Faith By Works. But no, what is it? It's an Israeli lobbying and spy firm. They're going to spy on your phone. They're going to find out when you are in church. And then immediately following that, they're going to rape you with Israeli propaganda. Again, we need someone to stop this raping. We need it. Like, this is the worst raping we've ever experienced. We are being raped endlessly by this foreign nation. I hate to even call them an ally, but they're our ally, and they're raping us. But yeah, of course they're going the podcast angle because they, not that they ever had the support of all these guys, but like on the podcast side, they're losing the support of Joe Rogan, one of the biggest podcasters in the world. They're losing the support of, they already lost the support of Theo Vaughn. They're losing the support of the Nelk Boys. The Nelk Boys brought on Bibi Netanyahu, and then immediately after brought on like 3 different guests to counter what Bibi was saying, because they had the worst. They were literally asking Bibi, like, Burger King or McDonald's. And then there was 30 fucking Mossad agents all in suits standing there on the other side of the camera. They talked about that later too. Like, that's crazy. They had to bring on Sneeko. They had to bring on Yusuf. They had to bring on Nick Fuentes just to get people back on their side, because the young generation does not like Israel. The young generation is fed up with their bullshit. The young generation listens to people like Candace, like Tucker, like Nick, like Myron, like Andrew Tate. Again, not to hype up myself, but hopefully more people start listening to me too. You guys get what I'm saying? We need more people like this to jump in, because they are about to try and flood the media with their side. Now that Charlie Kirk wrote them that letter, the letter got exposed. We're seeing stuff like this. It's getting exposed in real time. We're seeing that they're trying to set up podcasts to rape Americans. They're going to flood it. They're going to start 50 new podcasts in the next month. And then when they fail, they're going to start 50 more because they have the budget to do it. We're pretty much funding that. Our $15 billion we sent this year frees up cash flow for them to do whatever the fuck they want because everything they need is funded by the United States already. So all their cash flow is freed up. We pay their health care. We're now paying for them to rape us with propaganda. I'm fine with my tax dollars. I'm financing my own rape. I'm literally financing my own rape. I'm basically paying Bibi Netanyahu to rape me. And then I'm saying stop when he's doing it. Like, that's, you guys get the point. It's a fucking crazy metaphor, but it's real. We are being raped. This is unconsensual propaganda. We don't want this. No Americans want this. Americans are outspokenly against Israel at this point. Donald Trump is realizing it so much that even he is starting to turn on Israel. Donald Trump, who took over $100 million from Myron Adelson, took over $200 million from APEC, is literally starting to be like, Bibi, you're so fucking negative. Shut the fuck up. Something we all wanted. Like, I would love to pick up the phone and call Bibi and say, shut the fuck up. You're so fucking negative. Like, I can only imagine how that went over. Ugh. Like, that's probably what he sounded like back. He's such a fucking old retard. Both of them kind of are. But at least Donald Trump is waking up to Bibi's bullshit a little bit. I just hope Donald Trump does not allow the regime change war to happen in Iran. I hope Donald Trump doesn't keep shilling for Israel in the way he has. But we all know it probably will happen. There's so many major Zionists in his cabinet and close to him, including Stephen Miller, Peter Hegseth. Pam Bondi's one of the worst ones. I mean, Pam Bondi literally testified today, again, that there was no clients for Jeffrey Epstein. That Jeffrey Epstein was just this lone financier who was just getting unlimited hand jobs from minors. That he was just the king of fucking hand jobs. That's what we're hearing from Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi has no problem lying to the American people, pushing her own propaganda even under oath. That's the current state of the Trump cabinet. I'm going to go on this, let's see if there's anything. We're going to read some of their messaging, and then we're really going to go on again. I've been on this first topic for like 30 fucking minutes already. This is going to be a long show today, possibly. But messages to pastors, Christians about Israel, its history and its people, its biblical significance, its place in the Christian New Testament, and more. Educational message about the history of Jews in the region before and the creation of the State of Israel. Messages about the history and creation of Israel, its legitimacy as a power in the region, and its protection of non-Jewish populations. Moral superiority, questions the long-standing policy of a two-state solution. Again, these are like all the messaging. I'm not gonna go. Maybe we'll go over this real quick. The targeting geofencing strategy, church targeting. The largest Christian church geofencing campaign in U.S. history. It will be used to distribute our message and encourage Christian and pastors to reach out to us and follow our channels. Yeah, again, like they are trying to just rape us with propaganda. They're basically, you're going to go to church and then you're going to be filled with Israeli ads after. That's not what I fucking want. That's not what, like, I go to church to become closer to God, not Satan. Let's see. Yeah, they are explicit that they say heavy geofencing will target all Christian churches in their select market. So again, all churches in their markets are going to be targeted. We are going to move on. I mean, I've been talking about this for a while, but yeah, I think it's very unfair that we are being raped with this propaganda. I think it's very unfair that we don't have a decision to vote on this as the American people, to say, hey, as Americans, we don't want our politicians to be lobbied by foreign governments or foreigners. Like, that's not too much to ask. And the fact that the politicians themselves decide it, the people who are like, think about it, the politicians vote based off how they're paid. People are paying them to say, hey, we want you to allow lobbying still. And the American people overwhelmingly don't want lobbying to happen, but we don't get that say because the people who vote on it, the people we elect into these positions, are taking money to work against the American people. The people we vote into power are taking money to work against the American people and work for a foreign nation. Even if they're not dual citizens, we still have people doing that. I showed a video yesterday of a senator realizing that all his constituents fucking hate him because he took money from APEC. Hopefully this will wake some people up in the future to not accept money from this fucking like, again, APEC is the synagogue of Satan. It's fucking terrible. AIPAC is the devil. They are funding American politicians to work against America. Let's go on now. Let's go over. Again, I fucking hate Zohran Mamdani, but he gave this statement out today, and I want to read, paraphrase some of the statement. He said, 2 years ago today, Hamas carried out a horrific war crime, killing more than 1,100 Israelis and kidnapping 250 more. I mourn these lives, and I pray for the safe return of every hostage still held and for every family whose lives were torn apart by these atrocities. In the aftermath of that day, Netanyahu and the Israeli government launched a genocidal war, a death toll that now far exceeds 67,000, with the IDF bombing homes, hospitals, and schools into rubble. Every day in Gaza has become a place where grief itself has run out of language. I mourn these lives and I pray for the families that have been shattered. Our government has been complicit through it all. This must end. The occupation and apartheid must end. Peace must be pursued through diplomacy, not war crimes, and our government must act to end these atrocities and hold those responsible to account. These last 2 years have demonstrated the very worst of humanity. We must answer it by modeling the very best, a relentless pursuit of our higher ideals and an unwavering commitment to universal human rights. Again, I disagree with Mamdani on a lot. I think he's a piece of shit. I think he is a Muslim, so you guys know how I feel about that. But he gave a pretty decent message here. I do think it's very true the way he phrases it. Yes, there was an atrocity that happened on October 7th. With today is the 2-year anniversary of that. There were over 1,100 Israelis who were murdered and hundreds who were kidnapped. Does that justify the killing of women, children, and journalists, though? Does that justify the killing of a 5-to-1 civilian to soldier death ratio on the other side? No, it doesn't. That's a genocide. We would condemn it if it was any other country. We're condemning it when it's Israel. We are condemning it also because we are funding it too. We cannot be funding this genocide, and we have been. This war needs to stop, and for some reason, even after Hamas accepted the deal, Israel has kept the bombs flowing. They've kept the bullets firing. It has not stopped. We need this war to end. People need to stop dying on both sides. This is such an easy message to understand and accept, and more people need to listen to it, but we need the death to stop. But yeah, I think Zamdani's an absolute piece of shit. I think his plans are retarded. Wanting to open government-run grocery stores is going to shut down half the bodegas and grocery stores in New York City. New York's already becoming a shithole with the woke liberal policies. It's just going to get even worse if this fucking... if this you-know-what gets into office. We're going to go on, though. I do want to show this clip before I show some other clips really quick. But this is a clip I've showed on the show before, but this is of Charlie Kirk in 2023 talking to Patrick Bet-David about Israel.
How did these guys not know this was taking place?
So I've been to Israel many times. The whole country's a fortress. When I first heard this story, I still had the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that's an IDF soldier.
Yeah, they allowed it to happen.
Right, the whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu was basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? He said the judicial branch has too much power. There were protests planned this week against Netanyahu, where they anticipated tens of thousands of people to take to the streets. That's all gone, Patrick.
Yep.
Netanyahu now has an
Netanyahu shut down all the elections because of the war.
Emergency government and a mandate to lead. I'm not willing to go so far that saying that Netanyahu knew or there was intelligence here, but I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order? 6 hours?
There was a
I don't believe it.
order, I mean,
Israel's the size of New Jersey. When I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border, it's 45 minutes.
Wow.
6 hours. They're live streaming the killing of Jews. Did somebody in the government say stand down? That is a legitimate, non-conspiracy question. The whole country is the IDF.
Stand down.
The whole country is.
Yep.
And you're trying to tell me that they're going to concerts and kibbutzes and schools and by reports 6 hours. Let's say it's 3 hours.
Yeah. You cut
That's
the time in half, it's still way too much and unbelievable.
suspect.
But yeah, that's a clip of Charlie Kirk from years ago. That clip kind of went viral after Charlie Kirk's assassination, when a lot of people were pointing the finger towards Israel. And then I want to show these videos. So there's two videos I want to show you. This is a video of Netanyahu in 2002. And then I want to show you a video of Netanyahu recently, or just the other day, to Ben Shapiro. I want you guys to notice this. Here's what I want you to pay attention to. Notice the similarities. Notice the similarities in these things.
There is no question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever. And there is no question that...
Yeah, how'd that work out? Weapons of mass destructions. Tens of thousands of Americans died for this fucking cunt right here, who was like, yep, no doubt, no doubt.
Once he acquires it, history shifts immediately. The dangers posed by a nuclear-armed Saddam were understood by my country 2 decades ago, well before September 11th. In 1981, the late Prime Minister of Israel, Menachem Begin, dispatched the Israeli Air Force on a pre-dawn raid that destroyed the Iraqi nuclear reactor at Osirak. This probably took place months away from Saddam's ability to assemble the critical mass of plutonium.
All right, so I'm not going to watch the rest. There's another minute in it, but you guys get the gist. He's basically saying that Saddam was close to a nuclear weapon, and Saddam having a nuclear weapon would be very destructive. Now watch this clip recently. And just before you do as well, as we all know, there was no weapons of mass destruction. The entire thing was a hoax. Tens of thousands of Americans basically died for Israel.
And we achieved this neutralization of Iran, which could blackmail every American city. People probably don't believe it, right? They don't believe it. Oh, we're far away, right? No, you're not. Iran is developing now ballistic missiles that are intercontinental ballistic missiles for 8,000 kilometer range. What does that mean? They add another 3,000 kilometers, and they've got under their atomic guns, New York City in target, Washington.
See, Iran doesn't want to bomb the United States. They want to bomb Israel, and Israel wants us to stop them. They want us to push the regime change.
Boston, Miami, Mar-a-Lago. Okay? So that is a very great danger. You don't want to be under the nuclear gun of these people who are not necessarily rational and who chant death to America. And we achieved this.
Chant death to America. Literally, your Mossad agents celebrated 9/11 right after it happened. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm not saying that Muslims didn't celebrate too, but you literally had Mossad agents celebrating 9/11. So go fuck yourself, Bibi Netanyahu. But yeah, do you guys notice these similarities where he's like, yeah, we got to stop Iran. Iran is close to a nuclear weapon. Them having it will put it will be a threat to the United States. And then same thing where he's like, Saddam Hussein is close to a nuclear weapon. When he has one, it's going to be a threat to the United States. He even brings up 9/11. Like, this is propaganda. This is Hezbollah. This is what we're trying to call out and talk about. This is the stuff they will not talk about on Fox News. You want to know something I noticed on Fox News today, because I looked it up, and no other major news company is reporting it, because as I showed you in a previous episode, Israel has bought and owned all our media. But there were 4 Americans that Israel killed just 2 weeks ago, and still to this day, not one Fox News reporter, not one CNN, not one MSNBC, not one major news source in America is reported on, because Israel owns our media. When Israel does bad things, the big media doesn't report on. They do not give a shit about the truth. They care about Hezbollah propaganda. They care about Israel. They care about their donors. They care about Rupert Murdoch, Barry Weiss. They care about the people who own these companies. Larry Ellison, David Ellison, all these people who run American media. But yeah, let's move on here. I do want to show you guys some more stuff. This is another clip from him talking with Ben Shapiro real quick. And then in this one, he talks about America first and what he thinks it means. How is someone, an Israeli, telling Americans what America... Go fuck yourself, BB.
The America first, that's a natural position. would be unnatural to have a different position. But America first doesn't mean America alone, because all countries need allies. Superpowers need allies. China has allies. Russia has allies. And if you're without allies who may develop the technologies that are needed for your defense, or the technologies that are needed for your offense, or the intelligence to save your lives, why?
Again, this is him trying to convince Americans that we need Israel as an ally. We don't need them as an ally. They need us as an ally so they don't get their shit pushed in.
Forfeit yourself of these allies. The problem that you've had over the years, the United States, is that you didn't have these allies pulling their weight. And Israel is an ally. It's a fighting ally that pulls its weight. Not only that, not only do we fight, we don't ask for America.
How many Israelis died when we went into Iraq and Afghanistan? I forgot. Was it Americans or Israelis who did that shit for you, you fucking asshole? Saying that you're a fighting ally? Dude, we are fighting you.
To bring boots on the ground, we've done the job of defending ourselves pretty well, I'd say, over the last 7 years. Well, let me first start with America first.
Yeah, again, America first means America only. America first means putting America over every other country, over every other thing. Putting Americans first, the people who built this country. Putting real Americans over everyone else. That's what America first is. I don't need some fucking prime minister from Israel who's not a real American who likes to buy all Americans telling me what the fuck America first is. I don't need that. We don't need that here in America. Let's move on. This is a pretty crazy, so we're going to get into the Candace part of this now. Again, Candace confirmed, like the receipts that Candace brought yesterday were confirmed. My biggest problem is still that she's slow playing this, and she's saying she's doing it strategically. She even talked about it. She called Nick Fuentes a fucking Fed in her thing today. Again, that's so disingenuous and fucked up to do shit like that. Again, you know he's not a Fed. Calling people feds who clearly aren't feds is just like the weakest fucking argument you can make, and it kills a lot of your credibility. So again, Candace, don't do dumb shit like this when you're actually like being vindicated on certain things, because it brings people again back against you. But I do think what Candace put out yesterday was breaking information. I do think the fact that Turning Point USA today literally confirmed that it was real is pretty breaking. So I want to show you guys this clip really quick, and then right after we'll show them confirming. But this clip is kind of, it contradicts, like they are talking about Charlie after he's dead without Charlie able to defend himself. And this clip, they're like describing Charlie's thoughts on Israel and all that. And then we see the screenshot, and I'll show you this. So this clip was a few days before a few days before Candace put that out.
On the call, Josh, and I was on the call, and a couple of Charlie's staff, and Charlie, and that was the call, and it was a work call. I mean, it was very much like down to business. Charlie was someone who, always in good spirits, but not a lot of small talk. Let's get to work. We started talking through the issues. But the whole existence of that call, the whole fact that call happened and that it was initiated by Charlie, that he called that meeting and that he put it on the schedule and wanted to talk through these issues, even with all of his criticisms for Israel. And he's had his criticisms, and people are blowing that out of proportion, that, he was, he was done with Israel and he was switching sides or whatever. It's all nonsense. If that were the case, why on earth would he set up a call with John?
See, that's the part where it's like, where he's like, it's all nonsense. That's the part I wanted you guys to see. Because it is clear now that Charlie was turning on Israel. I'm going to show you guys this clip from Turning Point USA today.
Address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go.
We're not going to watch this whole thing because it's like 5 minutes, just giving you guys a heads up.
Go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason
if you're excited the truth is out there, you would have put it out yourself. Let's be honest.
Didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange. And I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friend's trust in that way. But I did share it with some people in government because it happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect. And in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently. But here we are. So one of the reasons, Blake, that I'm glad to have this now public, it was not mine to share publicly, but one of the criticisms we've received.
Yeah, we're going to go on from here. But basically, he confirms that it was real. I found this earlier, too. I thought it was funny. Retard Finder tweeted, "I was wrong. I'm sorry, Candace, not a retard." And I'll join you there. Again, I apologized to Candace yesterday. I think Candace has been slightly vindicated. I do still think there's a lot of things she needs to clear up, and I think she needs to speed it up. I think waiting and saying that, we're not going to overplay her hand. We're not going to, release the information now because I want to catch people lying. It's like, again, this isn't Bravo TV and drama. This is the news. Act like a real journalist. This is why women need to get the fuck out of politics, because they do shit like that. I do give it up to Candace because she is pushing for the truth on this. She is trying to find out who really killed Charlie, so I'll give her that. That is really important. So Candace has been vindicated. Officially not a retard, Candace. You won. Officially not a retard. There you go, baby. There you go, sweetheart. But yeah, this is kind of part of the rest of the clip we were just watching, but it skips forward a little.
With Candace on the Israel issue. He disagreed with Tucker on the Israel issue, but he also recognized Tucker had positions they agreed on. Tucker was a useful voice in the conservative movement on many things, and so he invited him to events, and they were popular events. And so he would react. Sometimes people would just say, yeah, don't invite him. Or
this text down here, I just couldn't help noticing it, is very true. Disgusting backpedaling. If Candace hadn't revealed the text, neither of you would be admitting anything you just said. That's very true. If Candace never released these texts, then these people would never have spoken about this. They would have always denied it. They would have always denied that Charlie was turning on Israel because they're paid to deny that. They have Israeli donors the same way Charlie did. But yeah, so Candace in her stream today, I mean, she actually, she made some interesting, again, she said she's going to release a different name every day of the week, which is crazy. It's like, again, just release them all. Just release them all. It's not that fucking hard to just release the information to the people. We are not going to get arrests when we catch people lying. We'll get arrests if we can actually tie people to this murder who were involved. So Candace, you have an obligation to just release the information you have. It's disingenuous to not, but I do think it's good that you are trying to investigate this. I just think that if you're going to slow play it, stop monetizing it, because that just doesn't sit correct with me. But yeah, Candace brought up some good theories in her episode today. She also talked about, I don't know, she said one weird thing actually that I want to call out. She said that in her dream, Charlie Kirk came to her and said that he was betrayed. And it's like, come on, sweetheart. Really? Again, this is, why women need to stay the fuck out of, in your dream. You should have just kept that one a secret. If you really think that happened, that Charlie Kirk visited you in your dream and told you he was betrayed, no offense, you should have just kept that one in the back pocket. That's just, a weird, dumb, embarrassing detail that we don't need. It's just, it's one of those things where it's we're just gonna, call it fake. But yeah, Candace, this was kind of funny too. The Misfit Patriot, this guy's a huge Israel shill, an absolute retard. But he goes, I will give Candace every single shekel Israel has paid me for my posts if she can prove those text messages are real. And then he literally got community noted that the screen shot was real. So that's kind of funny. Candace read that on her show today. We know Israel's paying $7,000 per tweet that these people are posting. I don't know for sure that he's on the payroll, but he probably is somewhere. I'm sure some NGO or some bullshit bureaucrat is paying him somewhere. But yeah, Candace has been kind of vindicated, but she still has this obligation to bring this information forward. She is saying that she has, she set up all these safety deposit, all these security things for her. She gave a bunch of people close to her a bunch of text messages and information in case she gets killed. And it's okay, why don't we just see that information? Why don't you just release that? If you have these breaking things, all this breaking information, release it. Then release it. It's that fucking easy. Let the American people see it and decide if this is as breaking information and smoking gun information as you said. Because it really doesn't seem like you have it unless you release it. And I'm not saying you for sure don't. I'm just saying it's very, very weird to slow play it like this. I just do not understand that angle. And again, maybe it's because you're a woman, but it's like it seems fucking weird. And this is what I'm talking about. Where she goes, should I release more of the text chain tomorrow? Bitch, if you have more of the text chain, release it now. If you, like, yes, right here. You sound like an Indian engagement farmer. Boom. Right on the fucking money, that tweet. Like, this is what an Indian engagement farmer does. Should I release more of it tomorrow? Tune in to my monetized stream where I'm going to run 14 fucking ads. Like, that's bullshit. If you want to search for the killer, you're going to go down all these rabbit holes and you're not going to release all the information. You're going to slow play it. At least don't monetize it. And I just wouldn't even talk about it. My problem is not even what you're talking about. It's the fact that you're monetizing it while slow playing it. Pick one of the fucking other. Slow play it or monetize it and do it fast. I don't fucking care. Like, but it's just ridiculous. Like, if Candace had this breaking information that she could release tomorrow, she would break the internet with it. She would make a fucking $1 million on that stream alone. Just release the fucking information, Candace. It's not that fucking hard. Again, I want to be on your side here. And you are like pushing people away from your side by not releasing the information, by acting like a woman in politics. It's so fucking frustrating to deal with. We don't need more women in politics acting this way. I do want to go on. I want to talk about some other stuff. We've talked about the Candace stuff for a while. We talked about the Faith by Works, the FARA registrant. I want to get into this Brillin Hollyhan thing. This is a clip by Kai, and I'm sure most of you guys know who Kai is. If you don't, give him a follow. Kai is great. But yeah, this is a clip to just show, we have like 3 clips of this kid to show how out of touch from reality this kid is with like Gen Z politics.
So we should keep increasing the amount of legal immigrants.
Legal immigrants, yes, we're a melting pot. I absolutely support that.
So
no, we're not. That's a bullshit talking point that the Israel lobby started. The Israel lobby literally started the thing of we're a melting pot. No, we're not a melting pot. We're a country founded by Christian European immigrants. That's what we are, and we have gone away from it. But we need to get back to what this country was supposed to be.
I'm sure you understand these.
Like, why are we a melting? Does it benefit people to melt with Somalians, to have Somalians come into our country and rape our women, to have Haitians come in our country and rape our fucking women, to have people come in from these shit nations and steal and murder and rape? Is that the, America the Beautiful that they pictured when they founded this great land? No, it's not. They pictured a Christian nation that had Christian values and morals, where women weren't sluts, where blacks weren't disproportionately committing crimes, where Israel didn't run our fucking government.
These groups vote overwhelmingly against American values. They vote for the Democratic Party. So surely that's the death of the Republican Party, right?
Yes, but we can't close our borders and have our nation where we don't accept anybody to come in. So I've been a very big proponent against...
Plenty of countries do that.
We can do that, and we should do that.
We can't just completely close our borders off and never allow somebody else to migrate into the country.
Why not?
Because that's how the country was founded, as a melting pot. Like, we welcome people in.
He says, because that's how the country was founded. Bitch, when my ancestors came here, they built the greatest cities to live. When these immigrants come in here today, they fucking destroy the greatest cities to ever live. They literally, look at New York, look at LA, look at Chicago, look at Miami, destroyed by immigrants. And it's not just the illegal ones. It's legal, too. They just don't assimilate most of these cultures.
This country did not start as a melting pot. That term was invented in 1910 by Israel Zangwill.
Yep.
So the people that came over from England didn't melt into America.
No, they started America.
No, they were Americans. Fuck it. The people who came over from England to start America didn't melt into America. They were the Americans. They were the fuck you retard. Well, why? Who's propping this fucking kid up? Oh my God.
They didn't melt in anything.
Okay. I've been very clear that I'm against illegal immigration coming into this country and plaguing our generation from not getting jobs, making our streets unsecure, and actually, like...
This is why these events aren't filmed, and why the only videos we see are from people in the crowd recording on their own phones, is because of how embarrassing this kid is. This kid would literally, like, get laughed out of any room. This kid is a fucking joke. Like, dude, Stop repeating bullshit GOP talking points that we don't fucking agree with. How do those help you or me or any of us?
Harming Americans' future, therefore there's no safe America and free America to grow up in.
Again, my question wasn't about illegal immigration, it was about legal.
Yep.
And I think we should support more people coming legally and not illegally.
Okay.
He wants more. Just so everyone knows, Brilliant Hollyhan wants more illegal immigrants. More of them. More of them. What we have isn't even enough already. He wants more. No. I want to cut them all off. Again, unless you're coming from a primarily white Christian nation, you assimilate well into American culture, and you're going to build up the U.S. economy, I don't want you here. I do not want you here. It's that easy. Let's see. Again, we got a couple more clips. This one right here. I think this is actually the same.
We're continuing supporting legal immigrants in the country. I said the melting pot, absolutely something that we should continue to do.
So we should.
Yeah, that's the same clip. We're not going to show that one. Let's show this one. This is when he's asked about Nick Fuentes, which this is funny. Again, Nick Fuentes brought this up on his show. If this kid had 100 groypers in his line ready to ask him real questions about Israel and immigration and black culture and all these things, this kid would fold like a fucking pretzel.
And so kind of that second part question there, with the whole free marketplace of ideas, would you be willing to debate Nick Fuentes on that? We'll see what happens. I'm a little busy going to college classes every day and now speaking on campuses every afternoon. We'll see what happens later this semester. He seems like a cool guy. I saw he called me a country bumpkin on Twitter, which I thought was pretty funny. So we'll see what happens.
He called me a country bumpkin on Twitter. Yeah, again, because you're retarded. You don't know how to, you're going to get fucked in this political world. And it's almost sad, but you're about to get absolutely fucked in this political world. I want to go on. I want to get to the back half of the show. We're going to zip through the rest of these, and then we're going to check out our comments for the day. But this is a clip where Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate talk about being mentioned in Kamala's book. Kamala mentioned that the reason she lost the election was because people like Myron and Andrew Tate were getting so much support among young males in the country, and that people were just like shitting, everyone became an incel is essentially her argument.
Myron now, because Myron is also
a real nigger,
the realest of niggers, because Myron is, well, one, he's late.
I hope I don't get demonetized for that.
So
Whatever,
if that doesn't prove to you that he's a real nigger, just saying, let's take the evidence that's presented in front of us. You're calling him a real nigger. He's late.
He helped Kamala fail. So Kamala knows him by name, which is so fucking gangster.
That's crazy.
It's so gangster. Kamala's sitting there in bed at night.
Yeah, imagine you're named in Kamala's book as one of the reasons she lost. Like, that's pretty funny. That's pretty based.
Talking to her fucking cucked husband. Do you remember Andrew Tate and Myron Gaines?
Wait,
Bro,
do you remember Kamala's fake accents? Hey, I'm Kamala Harris. Every time she went to somewhere else, you do a fake accent. I'm actually very good at fake accents as well, so I'm going to do one for you. You're listening? Hello.
It's funny seeing these black British guys. It's very funny.
My name is Kamala Harris.
Okay,
anyway,
we're bringing on Myron. Myron, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
Bro, that's an epic find. That's a fucking flex.
Generational lifetime W for you two.
Yeah, no, I was actually on live and someone sent it to me and said, hey, did you know that you're mentioned in her book? And I was like, what? He was like, and he sent it to me and basically she was like, oh yeah, these two guys like took away the male vote from me and, in her book and stuff. So I was like, yo, this is crazy.
I mean, yes, people like that did play a role, but realistically, what took away the male vote from Kamala is the fact that I have two balls between my legs and not a slit. Because I'm a man. Because I actually... Again, I'm going to get shit for saying this. I don't care. I would rather watch a man burn this country to the ground than watch a woman ever sit in the fucking Oval Office as president. And I mean, like... Again, you could shit on me for saying that. I don't care. I would rather watch a man burn this entire fucking thing to the ground, and we all say we tried, than have a woman sit in the fucking Oval Office disrespecting the... Like, what is she gonna do? Like, again, is she gonna slow play releasing information to the American people like Candace does? She's gonna have a bitch fit with foreign leaders? Like, nobody's gonna... You think Putin's gonna take a woman seriously? You think Xi is gonna take a woman seriously? You think Kim Jong-un is going to take a woman seriously? They'll all be like, bitch, go make me a sandwich. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Bitch, go fold the laundry. Bitch, now. Like, that's what it's going to be like. Like, it's just, I don't know. Again, Kamala lost, yes, because there were people like this who were making men more stoic, getting men over lust and things like that. But at the same time, Kamala also lost because she's a dumb bitch. That's it. That's all she is. She's an alcoholic wine mom.
I was like on stream, and so they said it to me, and I'm like, what the hell? And well, number one, I was shocked they were even reading that book, but I did hear from people that she was going to release this book, and that she had like some criticisms for releasing too much information. So, it was just really interesting. But yeah, dude, like, it was just nuts to see. But that era, looking back on it, like, that was the censorship era. Like, that was one of the worst eras ever when it comes to censorship on the main platforms, making masculinity a bad thing. It was just a completely cucked period.
Yeah, like there was a point where you were literally just told, like, if you're a man, you're toxic. If you have testosterone, if you're masculine, that's toxic. And then women just became massive sluts and abused men and just treat them like shit. And every woman has a body count of 50 plus. And most men just realized that women aren't worth, like, it's not that women altogether aren't worth the time. Again, I would love to get married and have kids one day, but at the same time, I'm never going to give time and attention to a whore. I'm never going to give time and attention to a girl who you could just see her ass cheeks on her Instagram, or when she goes to the beach, you could see her whole fucking snatch and ass. Like, I don't need that. Nobody needs that. Nobody wants those sluts, these dumb sluts, these OnlyFans whores, these Instagram whores, TikTok whores. No place in society for them. And I'm glad we have people like Andrew Tate and Myron who talk to the youth about this stuff, because when you're young is when you're introduced to this. Like, I've talked about this before, but I was first introduced to porn at like 11 years old, and that is wildly young. Like, if you know an 11-year-old, like, that's crazy to think about. Being first introduced to people having graphic videos of people having sex at such a young age. It impacts the way a young male mind operates. And it's not to say it doesn't have an impact on females, it does. But it has a way heavier impact on males. And there are studies to show this. And we need more young men to get over the lust. As young men, you are so tempted by all these little things. They're all around you. You need to get over the lust. You need to, build yourself up as a man, build financial success, build real success in the world, build strong friendships, have good relationships with your parents, be as stoic as possible. But when these young men are simping for these women, it just makes the world so much worse because it empowers these women to act even shittier. Let's go back to the video, though.
Bro, and there was only a few of us who were riding against it. One of the things I don't like on Twitter now, because it's cool to be conservative, all these conservative bros write their long fucking tweets about how important it is that you love your wife and you cuck to your wife and you need to love your wife. That's all they fucking talk about. And it's just like, bro, during the actual culture war, none of you people even piped up. You all sat still and shut the fuck up and took your vaccine because you were scared. It was only us two and maybe 2 or 3 others who were really fucking gunning and riding and charging at the gunfire and suffering for it. Tristan and I were in Romania, which is a very corrupt country.
Yeah,
so
that's another one of their messaging is like, the happy wife, happy life just means that if your wife was unhappy, your life would be hell. Like, don't marry that woman. Don't marry a woman who's going to make your life hell if she's not happy every fucking day. Like, that just sounds... Sorry about that. That was weird. I just had the entire thing cut out. I literally was getting ready to go do the comments, go do everything, and the entire thing just cut out. But, all right, we're going to get back into the rest of these videos. We'll go over what we talked about today, and then we'll go over the comments, and then we'll sign off for the day. Got just a couple more videos here for you guys, though. This is, if you don't know who this is Isabella Moody. She pretty funny. I found her on X. This is an e-girl. Let's go with this clip first. But she's got a podcast.
I think I know why you married me. I love guns, I love America, and I get suck the chrome off your trailer hitch.
Sorry, but the booby cons are so cringe. Oh my gosh, I love Trump, and I'm going to wear my little MAGA hat, and I'm going to strut around in my bikini with my fake tits. It's like, okay, you're a slut. Congrats, you're a slut who likes Trump.
Yeah, don't call yourself a conservative woman if you're walking around with your tits hanging out and you're talking about sucking dick on TikTok. Again, you're not a conservative, you're just a whore.
Join the freaking massive club of freaking degenerate whores who call themselves conservative.
Yep.
Slut.
Yeah, exactly. Here's another
A
one.
new study suggests that men who marry fat women tend to have a happier life. Who wrote this study? Who conducted this study? Were they a bunch of fat ass tortas? Were they fridge ass bitches? Because this bitch looks like she ate the entire fridge. Okay, this is definitely a very biased study. Because men who marry fat bitches
Were they a bunch of fridge ass tortas? A bunch of fat ass bitches? Yeah, most likely. Most likely.
oh my gosh, or even worse, men who marry women who are skinny and then they let themselves go during their marriage. Oh my gosh.
Literally every man's worst fear. Again, that should be a punishable by death offense. If you marry a woman and she's skinny and she puts on like 100 pounds, the judge should sentence her to death for that one. It should be illegal as shit.
I pray for you guys. Divorce those tortas. All right. I really do think becoming fat is a divorceable offense. It's like you want your husband to be attracted to you, but then you're bigger than their fridge. Are you kidding me, bitch? Are you kidding? That's
You're bigger than their fridge. Are you kidding me? Exactly. You bitches, you fat bitches, you need to hit the treadmill. Work out a little more, eat a little less. That's the best advice I can give you. I do want to, that's been all the different videos we had. I want to check if there's any headlines, and then we'll go check out the comments before we sign off today. Let's see. Already talked about all that. Let's see if there's anything on the news tab. Oh, wow. A declassified FBI memo shows that subpoenaed phone records, location data from cell phones of 8 Republican senators. Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz are a couple of them. Wow, so the FBI has been spying on American elected politicians. Again, this is just a breach in our trust, a breach in American security. We need to hold these politicians accountable. We need to have people doing this, and they're not. This is why we need to stand up. We need to have more people who are talking, whether it's on YouTube like this, Spotify, whatever it is. We need more people to let their voices be heard on how dissatisfied they are about these things. We'll see if there's anything else. I don't think there was a ton. Yeah, I mean, nothing else really worth talking about right now. Maybe we'll get to some of that stuff tomorrow. That's been all the topics we have. I do want to go over to our comments. We'll check out the comments. Before we do that, today on the show, we talked about the FARA registration. We talked about how they are just shoving Israeli propaganda right to us, and our government is doing nothing to stop it. They're encouraging it. We talked about Brillin Hollyhan. We talked about Candace Owens. We talked about a lot of different things that are happening within the United States and how we need to fix them. We're going to go over to our comments, though, before we sign off today. Let me pull those up really quick right now. Let's see. First comment we have, someone said, relocate Israel to Africa where it genetically belongs. Yeah, I do agree that Israel being where it is on the map definitely makes the world a more dangerous place. Like, literally every country around Israel hates Israel. They're surrounded by countries that hate them. And we have to back them up on it. Our government forces us to. Let's see. You're quickly becoming one of my favorite podcasters here in the UK. The political climate is shocking, not to mention boring. American politics is an absolute clown show and better than any reality TV show going on. Can you ask Donald Trump if he'll give me asylum? I want immigrants in my country. If you're Catholic, maybe I'll write a letter to the big man. Let's see. Let me know if you're Catholic on your next comment. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate you tuning in. I do want to go on to the next one. Let's see. Someone said, you made a low IQ claim in a reply to a comment. Have the Macrons prove she is a woman and not a man. I don't have a problem with that part. It's not the transgender part of Candace's theory that gets me. It's the incest part that I don't agree with. Also, did she not prove that Bridget Macron is a pedophile? Again, I never spoke about that. I spoke about the incest part. Again, get with the fucking program. She did. She is showing receipts, unlike you and Ackman, who didn't show receipts. He made claims, and the messages you claim with your low IQ that have been released. They have not been released. We only saw what others wrote on a fucking post. Do your fucking job. Do more. Do fucking more research before you act like a chimpanzee. Dude, you sound like such a I don't know if you're a woman or not, who you are, but you sound like a dumb bitch. You really sound like such a dumb bitch. Let's go through this again. Again, Candace showed one receipt, and I gave her props for it, but she's slow playing the rest of these, which is retarded. It's just so dumb. And like, do more research. Like, what am I gonna do? Rewatch her stream another fucking time? Like, fuck off. Shut the fuck up, you dumb bitch. Next comment, someone said, our federal government gives billions to the rich country of Israel. Israel used a chunk of that money to buy off the politicians. Insane, corrupt laundering. Yeah, I agree. This is a form of money laundering. But even without the money, again, we're just their bodyguards. That's what they need us for. They don't need our money. They don't need our weapons anymore. They have all that. They need us to be their bodyguards. That's what they need. I appreciate you commenting and appreciate you tuning into the show. Thank you. We'll go on here. Ooh, from our black listener. Yes, it's the ninjas. It's not all black people, it's the ninjas. And this shit has to stop. Not having anyone with a platform speaking up for the black community is sad. Not having any black activists speaking about the problems in the black community is sad. The embarrassment I feel of the way other communities, other cultures look at the black community is sad. The reason why they look at us in a negative way is because of the ninjas who either can't or refuse to get their shit together. Yeah, I agree with you a lot. I mean, there are voices in the black community, but not nearly enough. Like, Andrew Tate is one of them. Myron Gaines is one of them. I mean, when they call it shitty black behavior, like, they might not do it in the cleanest way or the most, like, PR-friendly way, but that is, you know, they are voices for the black community because of the stuff they say. But I do agree there should be way more voices in the black community, not enough role models, not enough father figures, and it creates the violent circumstances we're dealing with. So I appreciate you listening, appreciate you having an open mind, appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. Someone said, no lies detected here. Oh, yeah. Tell that to the dumb bitch up there. Someone said, Mark Levin is a dried up old cocksucker. I'd be mad as hell if I looked like him, and I can guarantee he's gargling the BB sauce. Yep. Most likely, Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro, you know, one of them's blowing him from the back and the other's taking it from the front. They literally are obsessed with the BB sauce. They can't get enough of it. I appreciate you listening, appreciate you tuning in. Someone said, I told you Charlie's views were starting to change on Israel toward the end. That's why BB tried to solidify Charlie's love. I love Israel views to the public. Today's episode, you really did what most don't do, and that's offer direct advice on how to get involved. Start local, bring your friends. It's what the left does, and to be quite honest, they are good at it. It's something we can learn from and start getting involved with. P.S. Do it every episode so all the new listeners get that tad inspiration. Yeah, I'll start doing stuff like that. I appreciate your comment. Appreciate you tuning in. I do think what he's referring to is yesterday I said that people need to go to the events where politicians who take money from APEC are talking, and when they're doing their Q&A, you know, bring 10 friends, get in line together in a row, don't tell anyone you're together, but then all ask questions about their APEC donations and about the stipulations that came with those donations. Really let these people know that we're awake to this. We're awake to, you know, the lobbying and the bullshit and the fact that more than, you know, like 90% of our government sold out to a foreign nation. Another piece of advice I can give is we got to just engage in what the left has done previously. If people are celebrating violence and the death of Charlie Kirk and these things, get them fired. Find their LinkedIn, find their jobs, get them fired, find their colleges, report it to their administrators. They've done that for a long time. Pine Sap got fired after his Jubilee appearance. We need to just engage in what they're doing in these nonviolent measures to really separate it. Like, it's important that we eliminate these, you know, the evil from society. Someone said, I love how close you are to admitting we need a revolution. No, I'm not close to that. I'm close to saying that we need to engage in politics. We need to get people in the donor class, people in political positions, so that way we can run politics in the future. Again, in 20 years, we should be running this country, and it's not going to be through violent revolution. It's going to be through engaging in politics. You shouldn't have that mindset, but I appreciate you tuning in. Someone said, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares what you have to say. Again, you shut the fuck up, bitch. No one cares what you have to say. If anyone cared what you have to say, you'd start a show. Shut the fuck up. Fuck you, pussy. Someone said, nothing you said was new or insightful. You're clogging up the internet with your lukewarm garbage. She showed the receipt. She is telling you what it is. Doubt she's going to talk about these issues she can't prove. And yes, she would make you a bitch because you cry more than any girl. Shut the fuck up. Again, you've never seen me cry, you dumb bitch. And, again, Candace is a woman. She can't make anyone her bitch. Candace brought one receipt. When you say receipts, that's not true. She brought one receipt. And she's telling you what it is. Doubt she's going to talk about issues she can't prove. Did she prove that Macron was involved in incest? I forgot. Did she prove that? No, I don't think she did. So shut the fuck up. You're retarded. That's all the comments we had, though. That's everything for the show today. It cut out weirdly, and I don't know what happened. Like, I was still going for a couple minutes, and then I realized, like, what the fuck just happened? I realized the entire thing cut out. So the energy at the end of the show is probably a little different than from at the beginning of the show, but I hope you guys still appreciate it. Hope you guys still enjoy. I'm going to sign off for the day. I hope you guys had a blessed day, a blessed afternoon. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.